Nigeria is in the brinks. Nigeria, we are sitting on the edge. Nigeria as a country, I would describe right now, is like a car being driven by a drunken driver. Our country is not only sick, but equally suffers from what I call a dreadful congenital abnormality. Corruption has graduated from the stealing of millions now to the stealing of billions and trillions. It's unfortunate that this government is not fighting corruption. Rather, this government is massaging corruption, is romancing corruption, is housing corruption, is corruption personified. There is a marriage between corruption and insurgency. The recruitment process of Boko Haram is festered because of poverty, because of hunger, because of unemployment, because of ineptitude, because of bad administration, and because there's no job security. So that lackadaisical approach and inability to give it a committed fight allowed Boko Haram to fester, allowed them to internationalize their atrocities, and expanded their milieu. Now they've become an incurable monster. So I want to tell you today that if you give Nigerians good governance, Boko Haram will become history, because corruption is worse than Boko Haram. It is out of place and very trivial to politicize the issues of corruption and insecurity. In this country, especially in the PDP, I will make a quote, and that quote is very simple, that the loser the only option available for the loser is slander when he has lost the battle. A serious government will not politicize the issues of corruption and the issues of insecurity. For example, look at the United States of America. Gates was National Security Advisor and a Republican under President Bush. But because the issues of insecurity and corruption in America cannot be politicized, even when Obama, a Democrat, became the president, Gates was retained as a Republican and as a National Security Advisor, because you don't politicize and commercialize and monetize the issues of corruption and insecurity, because there is a very close affinity between corruption and insecurity. So, instead of confronting headlong the problems of corruption in this country, those in the PDP will start saying opposition is responsible for Boko Haram, opposition is responsible for corruption. Opposition also will start taking on the ruling party, saying that why not individualize the issues of corruption and don't politicize it. So I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of whether anyone, whether in opposition party, in the clergy, or is an imam who is involved in corruption, should be dealt with accordingly. The issues of corruption in this country should be individualized. The issues of corruption in this country should be individualized. Today you find Buhari one thing, go for him. Tomorrow you find Tinubu one thing, go for him. But to politicize the issues and trivialize the issue because of your monumental and colossal failure in leadership, my dear, there is a popular saying, and I think Nigerians are waking up from their slumber, that if it takes you 7 years to prepare for madness, for how long do you want to get mad for? Nigerians must begin to think straight. They must come out of their cocoon. We are too gullible as a people. We are too indolent as a people. We are non-reactionary. we sit in our comfort zones. And the thing is decaying on daily basis. We celebrate corruption as a people. A man is living in Aja, is appointed a minister or senator. 6 months after, is building a house of 200 million in Ikoyi. And what the society will do is that traditional rulers will call him and give him chieftaincy title, irrespective of his political affiliations. Universities will call him and give him the honorary doctorate degree. Until we start challenging corruption as a nation and start challenging individuals and asking for accountability, we will continue to suffer what we are suffering. As I speak to you, we have over 300 private jets brought into this country within the last 1 year. You now have more private jets on our tarmacs than even commercial airlines. That is an indices and recipe for corruption. Who are the owners of these private jets? So, unfortunately, the National Assembly is supposed to help in checking corruption. But because we have a compromise assembly, there is a satanic collabo between the executive arm of government and the National Assembly. The National Assembly have 3 cardinal objectives and responsibilities. 1, the act of lawmaking through motions and bills. 2nd, the act of representation through making sure that your constituency gets their fair share of the national cake. The 3rd is the most important to me, that is oversight function over the MDAs. If there is oversight function, a proper oversight function over the MDAs with every sincerity of purpose of heart and commitment and the fear of God, there will be no need for probes. That is why we need a new order. We want a president in 2015 that will not just go and be commissioning projects, but supervising projects. I will start by saying that governance is participatory, and there's supposed to be a synergy in an ideal society between the local government, the states, and the federal government. However, I will say that I will not blame Borno state government, because no governor in this country is in charge of the police. No governor, in fact, we have seen situations whereby a commissioner of police has stopped a governor from going to his office in this country. We have seen a commissioner of police who have made the state ungovernable for the governor. So, no governor in this country is in charge of the police. Talk less of the army. So, when a governor does not have control, the police is federal, the military is federal, and none of them take orders from the governor. They take orders from Abuja. So it will be practically impossible for a state governor to contain any act of insurgency, especially where the issues of security are being politicized. The governor of Borno is in the opposition, is not in the same party with the center. So there's already a conflict of association. So to that extent, it will be difficult for me to indict the government and people of Borno State in the case of insurgency. In a civilized society, there is always a clear-cut synergy when it comes to issues of security. And that is why some of us have been advocating for state police. Because if the governor is truly the chief security officer of the state and is in control of state police, he would have moved before waiting for federal directives on the issues of Chibok girls. I want to congratulate Africa Online Media. That what you are doing is very, very great and encouraging. And I want to encourage Nigerians to continue to get themselves affirmed with online media, because you cannot be queried by NBC, you cannot be regulated, The truth has no color. If you want the truth, go online. And I want to use this opportunity to finally say that when I was a member of the House of Representatives in 2011, the House passed a budget of 245 billion on subsidy. But this reckless government ended up spending 2.3 trillion, over 2 trillion above budget. Today, if you remove 2 billion naira from Ghana economy, Ghana will collapse. I'm able to say this and to be transmitted because I am discussing with Africa Online Media. If I say this to NTA, it will not be here. If I say AIT, may not have the boldness to project it. Channels may not have the tenacity to say it out. I'm saying encourage online media, encourage Africa Online Media.